Every atom making up your skin, your heart, and your brain has been traveling for roughly 14 billion years to get here. You are the current custodian of physical hardware that has been continuously moving, changing, and surviving since the universe began. Right after the Big Bang, the universe was incredibly simple. The only ingredients available were hydrogen, some helium, and trace amounts of lithium. You cannot build a human body, or any complex biology, out of just these lightweight gases. The raw materials required to make you did not exist for the first few 100 million years of time. To get the carbon for your DNA and the iron for your blood, the universe had to build a massive, high-pressure manufacturing system to forge them from scratch. That manufacturing system was the first generation of stars. Stars are essentially cosmic pressure cookers. Their immense heat and crushing gravity force simple hydrogen atoms to smash together and fuse into heavier elements. In 1957, the B2FH paper established the scientific framework for how these elements are synthesized in stars. This diagram shows the layers of a star's interior. As you move toward the center, the temperature and pressure increase, forcing elements to fuse into heavier materials. Through specific fusion reactions, like the CNO cycle, and the capture of stray neutrons, the star manufactures the oxygen you breathe and the iron circulating in your veins. If we isolate the degenerate carbon-oxygen core right in the center, we see the specific accumulation of elements that make biology possible. Eventually, these massive stars ran out of fuel and exploded in supernovae, scattering these newly forged elements across the galaxy. As this debris coalesced into planets like Earth, carbon took center stage. Because carbon can form 4 stable bonds at once, it provided the structural scaffolding for complex molecules and, eventually, living cells. Every heavy atom inside you right now is recycled cosmic debris. Long before you drew your first breath, your physical hardware had already spent billions of years burning inside the cores of ancient stars. Fast forward to the primordial oceans of early Earth. To explain how simple microbes evolved into the complex cells that make up human beings, biologists point to the hydrogen hypothesis. This describes a highly specific, microscopic event known as endosymbiosis. Around 2 billion years ago, a single-celled archaeon swallowed a smaller bacterium. Instead of digesting it for food, the larger cell kept it intact, creating a permanent symbiotic relationship where they survived by sharing resources. Over time, that engulfed bacterium became a permanent fixture within the host, evolving into what we now call mitochondria. This electron micrograph shows the internal cristae structure of a mitochondrion. You can physically see its distinct bacterium-like anatomy still preserved today. Mitochondria generate the vast majority of a cell's chemical energy. Without this ancient cellular merger, single cells would have never acquired the bioenergetic capacity required to evolve into complex organisms like humans. This ancient merger dictates a strict rule for human inheritance. Your nuclear DNA is a mix from both your biological parents, but your mitochondria are inherited almost entirely from your mother. Because of this, you share an unbroken chain of mitochondrial inheritance that stretches backward through time. You got your mitochondria from your mother, who got them from her mother, cascading back through early mammals all the way to that original symbiotic event. When you look at reproduction at the cellular level, the biological payloads are lopsided. A sperm cell functions as a DNA delivery vehicle, but the maternal egg provides all the cytoplasm, all the molecular machinery, and every single mitochondrion the embryo needs to grow. The human egg cell acts as a biological artifact, carrying an intact metabolic heritage across generations without a single interruption. There is a common misconception that women carry fully formed future generations nested inside them. Biology is actually driven by a regulated process called oogenesis, beginning before a female is even born. Inside the womb, primordial germ cells rapidly divide and differentiate. This diagram tracks their progression into an oogonium. They then enter meiotic arrest, seen here in panel C as primary oocytes, freezing their development for decades until puberty. This graph tracks the total population of germ cells over time. The count reaches its massive peak between 5 and 7 months prenatal, meaning a woman produces every egg she will ever have while she is still a fetus. This timeline places the construction of the cell that will become you inside your mother's body before she is even born. When your grandmother was 5 months pregnant with your mother, her ovaries were already forming the specific arrested egg cells she would carry for the rest of her life. One of those specific cells resting in that fetal tissue contained the exact mitochondria that eventually became you. Your presence follows an unbroken thread, from your grandmother's womb back to a primordial bacterium, to carbon in the first stars. You are the current expression of this continuous lineage, proving your physical existence began long before you were born.